All right, we are rocking and rolling. Nico, take it away. The master of
Uh,
ceremonies.
MC. Welcome everybody. Welcome. It is our great honor to have you all here in this Saturday, second to last day of Regeneration Rising, the festival that has been beaming into the waves for the past few days, featuring incredible art for the Regenaissance with incredible talent and I hope you had the chance to enjoy and live some of the immersive experiences, talks, conferences, spotlights that we've been doing, and that you took time to go into our virtual worlds, the virtual floating city of Regenera. That you can access just a reminder in regenera.city and regenera.art, where you will be able to enter all the virtual worlds scheduled. We still have a bunch of things to go. We have 2 hours in front of us of really cool speakers, and then the whole programming of music tonight to enjoy. We're super thrilled to be here in the Vision Train. Thank you, Amanda, for hosting us and for beaming creativity and live art 24/7 in this wonderful, magical visionary train. And yeah, we're super happy to kick this off. Gurgis, do you wanna shake it?
I apologize, but I don't have video. No,
It's okay, your spirit animal's here.
Something went wrong, but do you hear me? Okay, show me if you hear me. Okay, Radio Jurgis is playing. Yeah, I am happy that DSS came to the Soul Train. I am happy that DSS came to the Soul Train. And I thought I'd need to bring the vibes. This place requires where they thrive. I got lots of beautiful love and music lined up for you, but the video won't do. So I'm thinking that maybe we can move from this place, and Roxy and Amanda and Nicolas can take us in some other direction, some other place, some space. Introduce the next speaker, maybe please, while I fix everything that I got right here with more ease and a little more time, less stress, yeah. Cause I wanna hold the groove, but I think you ladies will do a better job than me.
It is my pleasure to introduce myself. I'm Amanda Joy.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Bravissimo.
I'm Amanda Joy Ravenhill, Executive Director at Buckminster Fuller Institute, cartographer of complexity at the Design Science Studio, and I'm a member of a band called the Sea Stars. And we recorded a special song for you all, for Regenera, for this future. It is inspired by Mother Nature. It was called Move Me. And yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Amanda, you need to stop being so cool. Like, you need to leave something for everybody else.
I know. I'm always like, I would be unstoppable if I could sing. Here you are, singing. So powerful. Actually, the first time I sang this song, the first time the six of us, the Sea Stars, were sisters, not by blood, but by common vision. Each one of the members of the Sea Stars is rocking it in her own way, transforming governance, transforming clean tech, transforming ethical urban placemaking, and renewable energy in Haiti. We're all doing incredible things, and yeah, we've come together to build this new world. And I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Choo choo! I'm on the train. I lost my train of thought.
I love your bird filters. Very, very natural. They sounded really
That was great. Was that your phone ringing? It was my alarm to do Qigong, yes. Qigong. That should be everyone's new phone ring.
His bird. No one would ever get mad at you if your phone starts ringing.
So this is the Sea Stars logo behind me. I'm one of the Sea Stars, and I totally forgot what I was saying, but here is our, oh yes, the first time we ever sang this together, the 6 of us. It was the first time I ever felt like I was a sock puppet of Gaia. Like I felt Mother Nature, Pachamama, Gaia, whatever you want to call the larger supraorganism that is all of us, that is self-regulating and self-balancing. I felt her hand inside my mouth singing me as we sang this song. And then we created Gaia's sock puppet outfits for our next concert. It was great. So that's what the song is. Move me.
Move me beyond mountains, sow the seeds of whispered light, breaking through the graveled history to the world we know is right. Move me, Mother, move me, teach my heart to open wide. Move me, Mother, move me, so we sing, so we're alive. When our fields are lying fallow, and the seeds of discontent have been planted in our minds, what we see is what we get. So we stand and ask forgiveness from the Mother of us all for trespassing on the land. Say a prayer before the fall. Move me, Mother, move me, teach my heart to open wide. Move me, Mother, move me, so we sing, so we're alive. Oceans deep and heavens high, we don't have another choice. Hands in dirt, we love this planet. Hand in hand, we are one voice. Move me, Mother, move me, teach my heart to open wide. Move me, Mother, move me, so we sing, so we're alive.
Thanks all. Oh, so beautiful. It's so hard not to be together with my sea stars, and so hard to sing on Zoom. So that's the best that we could do. All listening to the same track while singing, if you're wanting to know how to do that. But yeah, such an honor to be part of that group and to be part of this community, the Design Science Studio and Hub Ritual and Buckminster Fuller Institute, and all of our new friends that have found us this week, the Vision Train and elsewhere. Feeling really full, feeling really connected.
So good, Amanda. Thank you. And from one musician to the next, it is so exciting to have your music segue, which also every time I hear the Sea Stars play, and all of you are such near dear sisters to my heart, I feel like this embodied hope, you know, this like truly embodied hope that you all hold and carry, and being visited by Leah's song today as well. Oh, whew. And now you, and now Casey. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. Thank you for preparing that song for us and for sharing it.
Mm-hmm. The ladies had a fun time choosing which background they got to have each in terms of the future is. And yeah, we're just really excited to be able to play together soon at the next Design Science Studio event in person.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so fun. All our new best friends all hanging out with each other in real life. Can you imagine hugging Casey? Oh. So good. Well, I will now introduce our Casey House, who every time I heard your name for the first time whenever we initially started the studio, Amanda and Faith would always just speak so highly of you because of all of your work with the Buckminster Fuller Institute already, and your dedication to helping translate Bucky's work for the world, and your art as a graphic designer and photographer and musician. Thank you for your passion for documenting ancient sites around the world and creating educational content that helps to translate Buckminster Fuller Synergetics work. It's been beautiful to see how that has also translated in your passion for building community through music and art, and your poetry, and your music. And every glimpse I've gotten to see of your music has been, it's like you have another superpower on top of being an amazing artist and on top of having this beautiful brain, and this dedication to like helping to take, I mean, when I first heard you starting to practice some of your presentations in the Living Systems Collaboratory, and I finally sunk in that you have taken these textbooks of Bucky that are like almost unreadable, like they're so dense, and have taken the time to lovingly like pull the different pieces apart and make them, creatively translate them to the hands of all the people whose lives will be forever changed because of it. It's just, I'm like, yes, Casey, someone has to do it, and you're doing it. So with that, I will pass the mic to you, and thank you for being such an incredible creator and integral member of the studio. It's been an honor to get to know you and become your friend.
Wow, Roxy, that's one of the best intros I've ever had. Thank you. And yeah, I want to thank you and both Amandas and Nico and everybody, Faith, everybody who's been a part of this studio, because it's really catalyzed a lot of growth in my projects. So, all right. Well, hello everyone. My name is Casey House, and today I'll be presenting a project that I've been working on called Synergetics University. So, the Buckminster Fuller Institute, the Design Science Studio, Hab Ritual, and the Living Systems Collaboratory have been consistent inspiration and some support along my journey. And everybody who's been a part of it has really given me hope that what we're witnessing is an availability to transformation and learning. And it's a gift that to know that I'm not alone in this journey of consideration, integrity, and innovation. Synergetics University, also known as SynU, is a project I've been working on for the last 4 to 5 years. And today I'll be guiding you through the website for it that I am currently hosting on my personal portfolio. You can follow along with this presentation by scrolling through the page simultaneously if you would like. And I recommend that you use a computer rather than a phone, as there's a lot more to see and experience on a computer. So visit casey-house.com or syn-u.com, and when you do, it'll arrive at my personal portfolio, and you just go down and click on SynU. So one of the first things that you encounter when visiting the site is this coming soon message. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the presentation. Another thing we see is a great quote from Buckminster Fuller that says, "I seem to be a verb, an evolutionary process, an integral function of the universe." And this has been one of my many considerations in creating Sinew, the oftentimes overlooked reality that we are each nodes in an evolutionary process. I've continually returned to this project as an inquiry into how I can encourage conscious participation in our evolutionary processes and become stewards of health and wealth for all living beings on the planet. So what is Sinew? As of right now, it's a multimedia education experience in design science, synergetics, and the work of Buckminster Fuller. And it's being developed periodically and periodically updated as I speak. We facilitate conversations and educational experiences that catalyze humanity's intelligent and considerate participation in Earth's ecosystems. Richard Buckminster Fuller was an American architect, inventor, polymath, and designer that lived from 1895 to 1983. Bucky, as he is lovingly called, had a lifelong interest in modeling nature's coordinating system and creating a comprehensive design revolution in service to a world that works for 100% of all life. His books Synergetics 1 and 2 are regarded by many as the most important books of the last century, and yet they have become increasingly hard to find in any library or bookstore. With this in mind, Sinew builds necessary bridges into the study of synergetics and translates the important work into modern and youthful assets for learning. Synergetics itself is a comprehensive approach to design that models nature's integrity patterns and studies the generalized principles of life and universe. As you can see in this rollover, synergy is the behavior of whole systems unpredicted by their parts taken separately, and synergetics is nature's coordinate system. Over the span of nearly 1,500 pages, Synergetics 1 and 2 gives a foundational exploration of the shape of space. Through geometric diagrams, eclectic prose, and scientific rigor, Bucky encourages us to consider the idea that we could generate progressively more life support while using progressively less resources by operating in accordance with nature's efficient design parameters. Skimming ahead, we come across some of the features of learning that this website provides. I've begun to see how interactive web pages like this can be good educational tools with the many diagrams I've made. It is important for me to create an educational experience that is not only insightful, but also fun and beautiful. In this section, we discover that the primary model for integrity is the tetrahedron. I'll leave most of this for you to explore on your own, but for now, take my word for it. The tetrahedron is a model for integrity. Appropriately then, Sinew can be visualized as 4 spheres of offering that form a tetrahedron. These 4 spheres are a textbook, an online course, artifacts like toys, jewelry, etc., and a resource library. While I don't have the online course part of this website active yet, I have other parts of the website that are, like the resource library. In true synergy fashion, each of the spheres accompany, accommodate, and relate to one another. The resource library is a repository for open source digital assets relating to synergetics, design science, living systems, biomimicry, ecology, and more. And it provides a valuable dimension to the online course. By providing PNGs, vector graphics, text, and more for the community to share and transform, we create new opportunities for learning and education. So if you click on any one of these images, it'll bring you to a download page that also shares a lot of information that I've compiled in regards to synergetics, as well as my own studies of these things. And there's also a download available for, some of them are vector graphics, some of them are PNGs, and they're all free to share in the Creative Commons. So next, we'll take a look at the textbook. The online course also has a reciprocal relationship with the textbook that I'm working on. Here you can see a photo of the rough draft that I've printed. And this textbook is a modern artistic exploration of synergetics and design science with hundreds of full color graphics. It is a complete course in synergetics that distills the 50 years of growth in the field into a physical journey of a book. This is a tremendous undertaking and has been the main focus of SynU for me over the last few years. I've also made a mock-up of a potential magazine that will harvest content from our courses and share the educational experiences that we have in our Zoom rooms and in our discussions and beyond. Scrolling further down, you can look through the hundreds of infographics that I have on synergetics that I've made. If it'll load, here we go. So there's many different graphics I've made here that are all available for us to look through and learn from. And I've made significant progress in creating the content for SynU and begun to synergize the offering with one of the other projects that I'm working on called the Alchemy Center. The Alchemy Center is a comprehensive anticipatory design agency specializing in supporting organizations, communities, and companies who seek to bring meaning, transformation, regeneration, and integrity to humanity and the Earth systems we're participating in. For this work, Alchemy Center will be facilitating events and discussions that onboard people into SynU's ecosystem. We'll be doing talks on Clubhouse and Zoom, and we'll be facilitating in-person experiences once we're ready for that, once the world is ready for that. So one of the discussions we'll be having is going to be on Clubhouse on Tuesday at 4 p.m., where we'll be discussing synergetics and the importance of Buckminster Fuller and what all of this means for the world. So thank you so much. This has been a presentation of SynU, Synergetics University. Feel free to visit my website at kc-house.com or syn-u.com or alchemy-center.com. Thank you.
Amazing. Can everyone come off mute and give a
Woo!
bird noises, animal noises?
Incredible.
Gratitude.
So much, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, Casey. So
Awesome.
beautiful. The synthesis of synergy, synergetics. It's incredible. So impressed by what you've been able to put together, and it's a dream of so many for so long to have a resource like this. And yeah, just on behalf of the whole Buckminster Fuller community, so grateful, so grateful for your work, and
So grateful for you too, man. Thank you so much.
yeah, it's really nice to hold. It's such a legacy, as we all know, and it's so nice to be able to hold it all together because there's so much there. And yeah, thanks for lightening the load for the rest of the community and really holding a lot of weight. It's impressive. And yeah, so excited to learn more from you as I have already. And Jurgis, it sounds like you're back.
Yeah.
You're back. Wonderful.
Yeah, but I'm having technical difficulties. Yeah.
Oh.
You may hear me okay.
Yeah, we do.
But you know, I think it's the power of the vibes, the positive vibes.
Yeah.
They're working their way through all technical difficulties, but I'm not 100% ready to conduct myself amongst you. Yeah. So
Well,
I believe that Amanda, Roxy, and Nico and Faith can manage. I believe in you. Yeah.
Really wonderful answer to say, not yet.
I guess I see you playing guitar, but then you leave your. I don't want to ask what's going on there. How are you? I don't know.
Wow.
I think because of it, though, we have some time, Casey, if you want to show your video.
Oh yeah, I could totally do that.
You have that ready? We would love to see it and have a little Casey House extension station
Okay, cool.
on the choo-choo train.
Thank you, Vision Train, for being such gracious hosts.
Oh,
Letting us be on the train.
sorry. I have to do something specific to share audio, right? I've never shared audio through something.
Oh, it's super easy. So close your share and then try sharing again. And on the lower left-hand side, you'll see
Okay.
share audio and then optimize for video clip. You got it.
Great. Thank you. So this is a some of the music I made a while back and gives a little bit of an introduction into Synergetics.
Thank you.
You don't hear this?
Yep, gotcha.
I'm interested in the fundamental principles by which nature holds her shapes together.
Wow. Another unmute. Whoop whoop. Animal noise appreciation station.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Casey. Wow, you just like connected a bunch of dots for me, and just watching those go by, I'm so excited to take one of the first Sinew courses and to collaborate more with BFI. So grateful to be on this path together. Thank you.
Science did require experimental.
Well, now I get to introduce two people that you all have seen a lot of already, but perhaps didn't know that they are also artists in the studio. They are two of the 144, Roxy and Nico. And they also have created an art project. And they are here to tell you about it. It has been such a joy, literally just such a pleasure to work with these two. We've created quite the team over the last year. And yeah, it's beautiful to explore the geodesics, the most economical relationship between the two energy events of our team. And yeah, I'm just so grateful. You guys have poured so much of your energy into the studio. It is spectacular, spectacular to witness the dedication and the passion and the just full-hearted ikigai combination of your purpose and what you're great at and what you love and what the world is increasingly willing to pay you to do. The studio is under-resourced in financial capital, but overly abundantly resourced in other forms of capital. If anyone wants to donate or knows major donors, please do reach out. And yeah, but back to that, your ikigai is just, yeah, such a beautiful thing to witness. Both of you just pour all of your special sauce and special skills into making the studio what it is. And we have a whole decade to go. I'm so excited. So grateful to be on this path, this long-term dedication to our team and for all the first cohort to continue to join us too. Thank you for making a family. Shangri-La, let's hear it.
Mini heart, mini heart.
Mini heart. Thank you, Amanda.
Do you guys know how to do a mini heart?
Jorgis is back. Jorgis, are you going to strum behind us?
Yes, 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 yes,
Oh,
yes, indeed. I can strum.
All right, so we're really excited to talk to you about this because it's a project that we've been brewing for a few months now, and it's still in a very early stage. This is actually a code name. We're still refining the final name. This is one of those projects that comes through years and years and years of experiences put together, and at some point it takes shape and it materializes into one single project. And to me, the spark of this was the pandemic, and after many years of talking with many friends about living together and finding a spot where we could create and do a bit of what we do, and then the last years with Roxy and Damien and Seth and Gunel and all our friends doing a lot of what we call ontological design, which is this idea that spaces architect the mind, and that what we design outwards designs us inwards. We started scheming on the idea of what would happen if we were to, taking all our knowledge about lighting, spaces, architecture, design, experiences,
Immersive art,
sound, art. What if we were to put it together and create a space that could serve as an inspirational board, as a canvas for everybody to come and play, and that would engineer the best of ourselves, and that would spark every revolution that we have inside and all the artistic capacities, and that would be a place for just conversations around very important themes, and that could be somehow a physical representation of what the studio is, a place to gather. We have a slight mirror of that in Regenera as a virtual city, but Shangri-La, which we call a revolutionary dream tab, is the physical representation of this. It's an eco-village or a space that we're aiming to build. Again, it's in the very early, you can see it's in the very early stages, but the idea is that it's going to become a center, a home, village, and it will have different parts. These are the four components that we're still working through. It will have a more permanent living component, almost like a permanent Burning Man camp where there will be people living there permanently or spending long amounts of time. There's going to be a more transient part of it, almost like a port, right? Where people will be able to come by and stay for a few days or a few weeks and jam with us. There's going to be an immersive art component that is going to be very
An immersive
strong.
art component? You mean an immersive art world?
A world
of immersive experiences built into and with and woven with the land, and everything really, like, and we'll get into the principles, of course, but one of the things that's the most important is that we're utilizing and upcycling and really connecting to the local resources that are available in wherever places that this will take form, which I think is a really important component when we start to think about the built environment.
And then the fourth part is the agora, which is what we call a place to develop the revolutionary sphere. And it's basically much of what you guys have been experiencing here in these talks, these conversations. It's about putting together and connecting all the dots of all the people who are doing great work and are like really working hard to figure it out. And so we, in the same vein as places like Estalen in the 60s that became like a cultural hub, we're looking to create a space for creativity and for connection and for conversation. So we'll just walk through the deck. It's a very long deck, and we can share it. Again, still in the works, and you'll see through it some of the inspirational ideas that we have in terms of spaces and etc. But yeah, we really want to create a space where we can. We recently discovered this idea of the museum, and this is in ancient Greece, almost at the peak of like theater and philosophy and mathematics. They created this space. You might have heard of the Library of Alexandria, and the Library of Alexandria, which was the biggest library back in those days, that was supposed to have a copy of every book in existence, was just one part of something bigger called the museum. It was a space where at any given time there would be 50 to 100 scholars just living there and reading, just sharing life together. And if to this you add this component, more playful, immersive art, storytelling driven component, and you add a little bit of permaculture, and you add spaces to think and spaces to design and some tools, some system thinking tools, you start getting something really interesting.
And I think some of the spaces that we've already passed, right? The Agora, which is a place to think and dream together and innovate. That combined with some of these other spaces where we're gathering, where we're creating, where we're working with the earth, where we're digging in and reflecting. I think one thing that's beautiful is there's, so many threads that I think are resonant across these different communities that are woven into the Design Science Studio, which is beautiful because the point is that we get to see how we can, like we are in the Vision Train, link train cars. Like, what are the parts of our visions that are resonant with each other? One of the ways that we've started to explore integrating some of these visions and ideas is this idea of a village of villages. So if you've gone into Utopia even, you'll see that there's a village of villages. And there's many different villages around the world who are looking to create spaces like this. So what happens when we link train cars? What happens when we collaborate and we create spaces that can help do this and we learn with each other and for each other? And so Shangri-La has this vision of having kind of the tensegrity, speaking of Buckminster Fuller and Synergetics, the tensegrity of these different environments to experience together, to learn together, to touch the earth together, to create together, and to be inspired in these spaces that help us, these inactive environments. Inactive environments are environments that can help us learn. And so what happens when we create these experiential immersive spaces that are an extension of the agora, that are an extension of places to learn and innovate and play and create, that are revolutionary in themselves. And then having those be a core component to the way that we are architecting our future villages, so that we are reconnecting to the earth in a new way.
And also, this very important component that we were speaking to this morning of the playfulness and the having spaces to disconnect, to reconnect, and to connect with other parts of ourselves, and to be unseen, and to the art and the being alive, and also with something that for us is very fundamental, that I also referred to this morning. That is the ritualistic component, the place in which you create almost like a dojo, place to practice better ways of being and staying in the world and connecting with yourself. And so when you put all of this together and you interweave it and you create this space and you put a lot of love into the food and into the shared experience, and you aim at creating these noetic experiences, these shared, ineffable, big experiences through storytelling and art and philosophy, and we believe that some real magic can start to happen. So we're gonna send you this deck so you can skim through it more time and enjoy a bit of the inspirations behind it. And as we said, we're still in the process of defining what this is, where it's gonna exist in the world. How are we going to create it? We've gotten really deep into the intentional community and village building world. We so much support that next month we are co-creating with Rebuild an entire event around village building to get together people talking about how can we live differently. And so we're very open at this point to receiving feedback and also help, if you know of anybody that might be interested to get involved. And we're very clear on this needed to be a vision that is brought to life from a very pure perspective. We want to make it in a way that is not constrained, that doesn't need to struggle through investment that is only there to get their money back. So we're really looking forward to find the best way to bring this to life in a way that is seamless and smooth and easy. And here you can see some of the principles that we put together. Some of them.
Interdependence or interdependence, depending on your mood. We live in a self-organizing system. Our planet, living system, with an inherent tendency to structure itself in nonlinear ways. Human beings are interconnected and an inseparable part of this living system. To understand the systemic nature of our universe means to shift from self-assertive to integrative. Does anyone hear Mansour speaking for me? I think so. From rational to intuitive, from reductionist to holistic, from separation to connectedness.
This one is my favorite.
Giving more than you take?
Give more than you take. That's far. That cannot be applied to so many things. Food, we've spoken a lot about food. This one also is one of my favorites, designing for nature, if you get there. Biomimicry and biophilia, and the idea that nature is the most perfect designer. It leaves no waste. It doesn't use dangerous materials. Everything gets recycled. It's attuned and responsive. Monitors its environment. It's really advanced technology. What else? Trust. Of course, trust. We have the speed of trust. Kindness. Communitas. This one is dear to my heart. Community is at the heart of everything. And communitas is that feeling of an experience that is, is the camaraderie that steams out a shared experience. So what you will get out of this festival this week is communitas. It's the idea of belonging, of like having found your pairs and being able to do more because you align principles.
Seventh generation thinking, helping sense make together, ontological design, designing for states of being, ritual, have ritual, if I may.
We're just very thrilled to talk about this. It's the first time we put this out into the world. We have been nourishing this baby for a few months. We're still not fully ready to go out, but we will be in a couple months once we have polished a little bit of this and the business plan and whatnot. But if you're interested, we'll just send the link and just feel free to reach out and be in touch, and we'll let you know more when there is more to know. Excited to build this vision with hopefully all of you.
Yay! Look, we did it. We shared the thing.
We have like 2 minutes for questions.
Yeah.
Wow. So beautiful. So beautiful to see the weaving of so many threads from the studio and inspirations from our conversations and in your presentation there. It's like a self-reflective fractal hold-on of our larger community, and it's beautiful to see the living systems embedded within.
Bravo,
brava.
Came through. It really is just like this amalgamation of all of the things that we love the most and have learned, and none of it is possible without all of this community. So one happy, beautiful vision all together now. Yeah. Cool. Any comments, thoughts, questions? We have like 1 minute.
When can I move in?
Soon. It's gonna take a little bit to build it.
You need the link so I can get in touch. Where do you want to build?
Let's do it.
We have cooperators standing by. Matt Siegel in the chat here says he's going to help.
And this is perfect.
Midway has so much.
So perfect because they're also building such a beautiful, incredible.
He's gonna
place.
share.
I know. I'm so excited. And this is like here in Matt, you'll see that there is an emergence of people who are really trying to figure out how to rethink how we live and how to relate to each other. And it feels like we've been in touch with a bunch of people who are building communities around the world in different countries, and it's very fascinating to see all of us collaborating and putting together the resources and sharing the ups and the downs and the failures, and so we can move faster. We can end up creating like a network of villages where you can hop on and off and share and distribute knowledge around.
And I think that also is a good thread segue too, because one of the things that's been emergent as we've been sharing this vision is that there's parts of it, there's threads of it that are really helpful for other communities who are currently building. And so we're like, great, how do we just like supplant part of this blueprint into what you're doing? Here you go. And the same for the studio. Like I think our 1-page document, Amanda, that we made when we like first set it out, we're like, all right, within the first paragraph, it was like, part of our long vision is that we create a blueprint to hand this off, but other communities can also do the same thing and have what they need to expand what the open source movement did for creative code and for creativity is something that I think just is perpetually inspiring about what we can do. Like seeds, they are so generous. So generous.
Well, anyway, thank you so much. Shout out also to Gunel and Christina, which are also part of this initial effort to put this together, and to everybody who helped contributed with ideas to that deck, and forward to hear from you.
Great. Do you think you're this?
I'm kind of back, but I'm not sure. So if you're getting me nicely, show me a thumbs up. Yeah, good.
Loud and clear, my
I
friend.
would rather see you dancing. I would rather see you singing. I would rather see you getting your groove on, your groove on. That's the kind of signal that I like. Not one that stops at acknowledgement, but one that starts and turns into action, into action, into actual change and a valuable exchange. I bet that if we all went to party together, we would have a rockin' good time. That's right, that's right. But imagine our party involves doing things and actually transforming the world, you know, or having fun in the process. I find that terribly inspiring, and so I would like to ask for gratitude in this flow. Can we get some love? 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 Can we get some love for Roxy? Mwah. Can we give it some mwah for Amanda? Mwah, mwah, mwah. For Nico. For Nico. Mwah, mwah, mwah. For Faith. For Faith. Yeah. Yes, and Brooke as well. She deserves love too. Yes, you do. Brooke, you deserve all the love. Just because you got here later doesn't make you less. And so I'd like you to know that we love you equally nonetheless. Ah, that's nice. I don't know, I'd love to break into song, but I know that things need to move along, and so I would like to introduce another inspirational artist, artivist, heartivist, polymath, synergistic, creative force. You call her what you will, what you will. She deserves your love and your attention too. Ladies and gentlemen, her last name is DeVille, that's right. And so Jess is her first name, and remember that too. Jess.
Thanks so much. That was awesome, you all. I'm just super thrilled to be here on the Vision Train today with Design Science Studio and Buckminster Fuller Institute and Hab Ritual and all of our friends from UCI. So yes, as you just said, my name is Jez DeVille, sometimes Mojo DeVille, and I use they, them pronouns. I am a choreographer and a creative producer in Oakland. And these days I've been calling myself an eco-embodiment coach. I'm gonna share my screen with you all. If you can see, give me a thumbs up if that's coming through. All right. See, I can't see you all now. That's so interesting.
It looks great.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
click on view and click gallery, then you can still see us, but you're still the star.
No, I can't see anything. That's okay though. I'm good. Okay, so I saw a beautiful quote posted this morning by the Design Science Studio team by one of my favorites, by Robin Wall Kimmerer, that goes, restoring land without restoring relationship is an empty exercise. It is relationship that will endure and relationship that will sustain the restored land. And I just think that this quote is such a beautiful way to preface the project that I've been working on, and that it sums up my life's quest so succinctly. Let's see if I can flip for you. Yeah. So I founded an organization called Open House Athletics in 2017 as a container for communities to explore our interdependent relationships with nature through performing arts. Our bodies are our first environment, and it's through them that we craft meaning and we carve out our identities and our strengths and our value systems. We're both informed and we're transformed by our inner and outer landscapes equally at all times, every day. And so as our environments grow and as they shift and as they change, so do our perspectives, right? So do the ways we treat the people and places around us, not to mention the ways we tend to and take care of ourselves. So that said, my project for this time in the studio is a forthcoming mobile app called Goodfoot. These are some beautiful friends of mine play testing Goodfoot, which is a social action storytelling adventure supporting players in growing a global perspective and reveling in the ceremony of play, using choreography as cartography to map the physical and the environmental wellness of the places that we call home. So I crafted a little bit of a prototype I'd love to share with you.
Open House Athletics is proud to announce a dance media project dedicated to mind, body, and soil. Goodfoot is a learning lab and forthcoming mobile app, inviting communities to contemplate physical and environmental wellness through social action, storytelling adventures. Browse our catalog of World Heritage sites to access information about the local ecosystem and how it has affected the region's movement culture, physical health, myths, history, and beliefs. Move your mobile device around to engage with 360-degree video,
Just a heads up, Moja. It looks like we lost you.
Meow.
Mojo, come back. Your guest, I think this is where we need your vibes to take over for a minute.
Woo!
Whoever thought they could be so fun? Whoever thought they could be so fun? Yeah, we get an opportunity to dance. Yeah, we get an opportunity to sing. Yeah, all right. So, while we're having technical difficulties, I would like to express my gratitude. Why not? Because gratitude is good for you and is good for the people who is getting it as well. That's right. Let me tell you a story. The beginning of last year, I was depressed. I was a little sad. That's right, yeah. But then I understand that if you say thank you, the time you have will be much better than you'd had. So can I get a little sign of appreciation for everyone keeping this together? Yeah. Raise your hand, raise your eyes on the screen. She's back? She's back?
Yeah, her power went out, so why don't we move on to the next presenter and then try and get her back after the next presenter.
Good idea. I completely agree. And so let us see who is next. Who is next? Oh. Is it Matt Siegel, really?
It looks like Matt Siegel.
Yes.
He's
Wow,
coming.
Matt, I cannot believe it. I didn't know that this was the Matt Siegel who was in charge of the mushroom factory. Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. You're my hero, or at least one of them. I hope if I do a singing introduction, you will take me to your place like you did, my friend. If you don't know about the mushroom, if you don't know about the mushroom farm, I know Matt will tell us all about it. Yeah, we will do it with charisma and charm. Correct? All right.
Matt, great to have you here. We're in double Zoom mode. We're trying to parallax the thing. Can you see us in both places?
This one's a little too sunny.
Yeah,
you're in stereo. Should we put our holograph? Should we put our 3D glasses on? I think if you take.
That's a lot nicer.
It's amazing. I like this.
Oh, Matt, it's so nice. I get to introduce you in person. Matt is a brother of mine. We live here on the mushroom farm together. It is an incredible property, 800 acres here on the California coast. Buckminster Fuller Institute has our learning lounge here, and it's so fun to synergize and see how BFI and the Design Science Studio and the Regenaissance and the mushroom farm can all come together and build this beautiful future that we all know is possible, that we all feel in our hearts. Matt and I got to meet in Costa Rica, and we just instantly united in our vision for taking regenerative and permaculture concepts and bringing them to life for 100% of humanity. And it's just such an honor to be by your side in all of this. And so grateful that you're part of Regenera today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah.
We are so lucky to have Amanda here at the Mushroom Farm sharing all of her deep wisdom. And there's so much we can talk about what we've been doing here at the farm. I'll kind of give a brief overview. It was so nice to see Mika and Rosie talking about village building and connecting the land projects. As the more I work in that field, the more people I find out all see the same vision and dream. I first heard it like 12 years ago at a thing called tribal convergence, and it's just like it's just getting more and more popular as an idea. Let's see. My background, vision train related. I know Amanda from when I was a producer for Envision Festival.
Amanda Sage.
Amanda Sage. Yeah, we go back. We produced Burning Man Camps together and had all the visionary art homies. And they were talking about it back then too. So I wanted to get out of like the pop-up temporary event production and into like actual placemaking where we get to host art year-round and really build on the visions and concepts that that community has been such a good sharer of. And am I sharing now? Oh, good. Cool. So this is our beautiful view from the mushroom farm. And things are bad, as we know. We don't need to know that one. But we have all of the solutions, which is so great. I'm skipping over that stuff because I know how smart everyone on this call is. And the solution we want to work on at the farm is actually solving for what are like the economical hardships of small farms and redefining what farms can be. And our ag director, Nick Rotundo, created a beautiful acronym. Farms can be the future of agriculture and regenerative movements. So this is just one example, one prototype. And we're practicing and learning and trying things here that hopefully you can all take to your land projects and your different train stations all around the world. The farm is a 110-acre old Hamble soup agricultural facility and then a 642-acre beautiful ranch north here on the California coast, just 1 hour from San Francisco and 1 hour from Paulo. And part of my theory of change is like the humans in this region have the ability to influence the world, right? They're creating the technology and moving the dollars that really the rest of the world is interfacing with every day. And they're very like screen addicted and not connected to the beautiful nature that's surrounding them on all sides. So how can we create a space that's not just a beautiful place where we can live and experiment, but also design it to share for the privileged that have the opportunity to influence, as well as for those who are underprivileged and might not have access to beautiful food, beautiful education, those kinds of things. And so starting with like, how do we seed the regeneration? We started with regenerative agriculture, growing beautiful food to experiment and learn, and then give all of the excess produce away to people who need it, rather than try to get into the commodity selling of food. There's also this idea of sovereignty through education. Sovereignty is a very big word. And yeah, we could spend a whole hour talking about that. But the idea that there is like having access to some of this like super old information and then cutting edge regenerative science and just sharing it and getting it out there and not necessarily selling it, but making sure everyone can know it, because the more people can know, the more impact we can all have. And at the farm, we also get to do all these cool projects. We have a beautiful nursery, we're stewarding some goats and chickens, and then just planting a medicinal garden bed that we're going to get into in a couple of weeks. We have our Motel Garden, We just got an electric tractor. We do electric tractor hay rides. And then we have some bigger dreams that are also going to be possible here. This is a vision of the future. And I really love this because we have like electric tractors and bifacial solar greenhouses that don't even exist yet, big battery storage. But if you look like in the background, there's like our actual goats in the picture too. And they're hanging out, doing the good work of building the soil with probably the best view a couple goats have ever had.
Yes.
They have a beautiful coastal view. And this is like, I mentioned big dreams a second ago. We have all these like old concrete buildings that need new roofs. So as permaculture has taught us, the problem is the solution. And we're going to rebuild those roofs and awnings with bifacial solar and generate all the energy we need for a indoor agriculture grow operation, adding rooftop greenhouses and beautiful office space, and become a farm microgrid. And if anyone's interested in farm microgrids and ag tech, reach out to me after, because that's another 15-minute rabbit hole. And really where we want that side of it to go is a circular facility. So there's a lot of talk about how do we get to a circular economy. One big step that we want to focus on here is we feel that a circular economy starts with a circular facility. So designing things that are closed loop, stacking some of the functions that are problems in agriculture, like distribution and processing and labs, all of those profit centers that are getting taken away from farmers and shipped off to other places. How do we bring that back into our local coastal community and add those services, closed loops, localized things. A lot of beautiful opportunities here as well. And then I mentioned design to share. We have a beautiful experiential farm. And so bringing in all sorts of groups from all sorts of places, from like nonprofit education to getting tech conferences out of tech facilities and conference centers and bringing them into nature so people can connect as humans rather as fundraising robots. This is the heist. I don't know why I threw this in here, but this is how our nonprofit model works. The heist is holistic, environmentally integrated systems thinking. It's kind of like a consensual Robin Hood, perhaps. But our nonprofit takes tax donations from those who have a little bit of extra, and we use that to expand motel operations and do some of these regenerative science practices. And then that food gets donated, as I said, and we use it for some education, and then we create some herbal remedies in this beautiful apothecary scene. Yeah, so that's kind of the quick and dirty mushroom farm. Stop sharing. And like I said, it's designed to share. We're prototyping, we're experimenting. Another thing I'm working on is connecting all these other land projects. Since the beginning of the year, I just found out more in Hawaii and Tahoe and Mexico and Colorado. And they really are popping up everywhere. So if any of you are working on that kind of thing, I know about a lot. I want to know about more and offer anything I've learned here and my past experience into the field.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, so wonderful. What a family. What a family we all have. Thank you, Matt. We also have David Satori, who's going to be holding down the vision training later tonight, also from the Mushroom Farm, come on at 6. Vision. I'm so excited to be a part of it. So excited that BFI gets to be the first nonprofit here at the Mushroom Farm of what will be hundreds over time.
Mojo's power back.
Thank you, Matt, for sharing your vision on the vision train for this era of regeneration that we are all stewarding together. Thank you, we love you.
Be part of it. Woo! Family.
Beautiful. I'm envious. I've always wanted to visit the mushroom farm. It's a place of legends. But now I see it's real. I'd only heard of it. It was like people spoke to me of Atlantis or this magic place. Finally, I can see that it's true. You should maybe take out the camera and show us something over there so we make sure it's not just a whole bunch of pretty slides and stuff like that. There you go. Right there. Super beautiful. Super beautiful. I'm now wondering, is Jess back with us by any chance?
I'm here, honey.
Jess, we missed you. We missed you. And we're glad that you are back. Are you ready to continue?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, it's very difficult when the presentation falls and something like that. So can we all see a show of hands to show support for Jess? Yeah, just to know that we are ready. We were waiting. We really got sad when we lost you, and we want to put you back in the place you were before the technology failed. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to thank the electricity gods, because I guess we're having a rolling power outage. So here we go. But I will be brief. I won't take up too much time. So my app, Goodfoot, is all about turning the micro pilgrimage into an ongoing personal practice. I use a movement methodology that approaches the body as a metaphor for systems theory, in an attempt to dispel the myth of separateness, exploring adventure storytelling to help us best protect intangible cultural heritage and history. I like to refer to that as the language of our ancestors, and also allows to help us design the future. And as the project grows, the Goodfoot app will become a living library of sorts, collecting and conserving these different stories of resilience, highlighting biocultural diversity, modeling social permaculture, and hopefully inspiring engagement with global conservation efforts as well. My project also aims to mitigate the nature gap, which is a term that's used to describe the findings of a study by the Center for American Progress and the Hispanic Access Foundation. They found that on a state-by-state basis, when combining spatial data with census information on race, on family structure, on income, probably close to 74% of communities of color are nature deprived, compared to only 23% of white communities, whether that is because of a lack of safety or geographic limitations or so many other factors. This really hit home for me recently, actually. I have been in the midst of an artist residency with vertical dance company Bandaloop, who you see here. And Bandaloop is dedicated to honoring nature and community and the human spirit through perspective bending dance, right? Their Updraft residency offers BIPOC artists like myself access to nature and to opportunity for performance through their brilliant network of support. We use all sorts of rock climbing technology to dance in the sky, and the process of relearning my relationship to gravity has been incredible as I build out the movement methodology for Goodfoot. And so it's not only bolstered the development of my movement meditations for the app, but in an unexpected way, it's reinforced my mission to create more nature access points for communities that have been historically marginalized. Because somehow, even on the way to my coaching sessions with them, and even on the way to dancing outdoors in such a life-affirming way, I've still personally had to navigate the boundary of police scrutiny and profiling when traveling to these remote outdoor sites, despite being coached on private property and in community and with permission. So nature's magic and her cure is breath. And hopefully releasing Goodfoot into the world will offer others the opportunity to move more freely and breathe easily, aware of their surroundings and confident of their impact in the world. You'll see here some images of some of the dancers that have been play testing and creating content for the app with me. This is Yasha, who's an environmental engineer in Maui. Thais Aquino, who took these beautiful images, was actually a part of the Design Science Studio cohort as well. So thank you for creating the container for that collaboration, you guys. Yeah, Goodfoot's been helping me to bridge many gaps and tap into what I'm knowing to be ancestral intelligence. And it's been helping me to support folks in using performing arts as a tool to protest systemic inequities and to design an inclusive and a regenerative future. The more intimate we become with our natural landscapes, the more sure-footed we grow to be, and the more compassionate and caregiving we are, and the harder we work to ensure the Earth's survival as well as our own. So you can join the journey by heading over to danceoutdoors.com. I've got a little button there where you can sign up for updates. I'm currently building more content and play testing, and always looking for collaborations with developers and illustrators and videographers. So you can find me at danceoutdoors.com, and I look forward to moving with you soon. Thanks so much.
Mojo, you don't know how beautiful it is. I was playing the music while you were speaking, and I realized something magical is that you stayed in rhythm. You stayed in rhythm the whole time. Could it be that we sync up? Could it be? And we start flowing in the same trajectory, that we enter this cosmic ravine of feeling and emotions. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. I know there's another sister here, yeah. She calls herself a multidisciplinary storyteller, multidimensional indeed, but I think that she's more transdimensional, because she mixes everything very, very magically. And I've had the beautiful opportunity to share with her and get to discover her talent. And that's why I think it's transdimensional. It just mixes like this, yeah. There is no box, Harris, which someone could place you into. And so I'm glad that right now I can give you the room. And the floor as well, my dear.
Thank you so much for the magical introduction. And thank you, Amanda Sage, for curating such an incredible visionary container. I can just feel the buzz of creative, co-creative energy in here that you've been nurturing for a year now. Is it exactly a year? Exactly a year. So thank you so much for this container and this space, and it's a delight to be here with you all. I've just been flowing in and out of my day, all week, listening to the incredible projects of the Design Science Studio creators, and I wanted to say just a huge thank you to Roxy and Nico and Faith and the whole gang, the whole production crew, Amanda. Your love and care in this container has been life-changing, to say the least. I have really felt so incubated through this space, and it's been fascinating to sort of directly experience the power of emergence and the power of the trust and the tools, and sort of leaning into that sufficiency that Lynn Twist speaks of, knowing that everything that we need is already available and present and here for us. I originally applied to the studio with a very large project, a very large dream that came to me in a visionary state, and I have just been trusting and moving forward. And the project is called the Garden of Infinity, and it is an eco-ritual immersive art theater that uses mythopoetic embodiments of different ecosystem functions to teach about human cooperation, human social organizing in a playful, song-centered way. And when I first entered the studio, I was just like, how in the hell am I going to create this thing? It's so big. I feel so crazy. Like, I don't know if anyone really gets this. And just to be planted in this space of like immediate recognition, immediate belonging, immediate acknowledgement. And I actually let go of this project idea entirely and really just immersed myself into the teachings that came through our visionary sessions every week and came through my one-on-one connections with different cohort members, co-creators in the Design Science Studio. And been this very non-linear process where now, thanks to Nico's invitation and request for support in curating assets for our Topia world that we built, that at the very end, as we've launched, I've found the medium for my original project idea. And so the next cohort, I'm going to reapply and explore the Garden of Infinity as a installation in Topia. And I will be looking for collaborators. I would love to have at least 13 performers that would be down to hold down an ecosystem archetype in this mythopoetic theater field. So it's just incredible what happens when there is a safe container for you to cast your vision, to cast your dream of the future. It's a tender thing, these vision seeds. It's like this deeply intimate manifestation of our desire, and sometimes sharing our authentic desire can be like, ooh, like deep intimacy, right? Because it's like what we desire most is how we're being deeply seen and deeply connected with. And I think that there's a tenderness and a care that Roxy and Amanda and Nico and all of the holders of this container embody. And I think there's something sweet about that tenderness that is just the right soil and just enough support and just enough like, hey, the deadline's this day. And we believe in you fully that you can absolutely create this huge, wild vision that you have. And being held in a container of belief long enough for you to feel possible, for you to feel like your dream is possible, for you to feel like this future that we're all working toward is real and actionable and right here, and we're doing it. That is a special kind of magic that I think the Design Science Studio has really beautifully and emergently created. And I just love the spirit of the rapid prototyping and the sort of free fall into the unknown, because I think there's been a lot of lessons and challenges, and at the same time a lot of deep emergence and adaptive learning and co-creation and unexpected support. You know, for example, Nico asking for support in Topia really like turned on this latent creativity and desire to serve, and it was like the invitation at the perfect time to lean into some of the tools and platforms that were being given to us. And so yeah, it was a delight to spruce up the vision train and turn it into a galactic dragon in Topia, and and then as well building our own installations and our own worlds. Ganga and I, sort of in the spirit of this emergent co-creation theme, Ganga Devi, who she invited me into the studio, and she's an incredible cohort leader. She's been leading some centerpiece circles this week, and her work, regenerative counseling, is next level. She is such a clear channel and brilliant space holder and ecologist and systems thinker and just epic synergist. So she and I, she asked me to design some assets for an installation, and you know, through our conversation, it became this whole world, and we were able to sort of weave this mythos that wove together my work around vision casting and really dreaming seriously, and Ganga's work around regeneration and the art of regenerative living. And so if you feel the stirring in your heart to explore Topia, maybe right now or in the future after this call.
You want to screen share it for a sec, Harris?
Sure. So let me open. Topia. So I will just show you the like zoom out of it, and then you can go into Topia yourselves and kind of do a scavenger hunt to find it. But this is the world, the Vision Casting Circle Grove. And this is, located in Natura. And this is the entrance stone right here. And if you approach this stone, you will hear the sound of an ancient voice speaking to you. And this ancient voice has a quest for you to explore on your own with a friend in Topia, in your own personal self-reflection. And so you can approach this center stone to receive your quest, and then you can swim here in the headwaters of Regenera at the sacred springs of Syntropy. And it's in this beautiful, miraculous sacred spring that the ancients of Regenera first cast the vision blueprints of our world. And you are invited to cast your vision alongside us here. So come find this world in Topia and explore the links to receive your vision casting quests. Woohoo! Thank you so much for just a delightful playground and a really light, playful, creative way to explore some of the deepest, most profound teachings of our time. And thank you so much for, again, the opportunity to be in community and to just be connected to the morphic resonance field that is the Design Science Studio. If you are listening in and you are not a member, I highly encourage you to apply to our second cohort. We would love to have you all in the space, and it would be incredible to co-create alongside of you and see what projects and what visions for the world you are casting. So sending you all so much love. Thank you again for the space. Thank you, Jorgis, for the intro. Thank you all for the opportunity to grow and fly and change the world. Woohoo!
Harris, you're such a beam of light and energy. It's been amazing to have you consistently in every class, every Monday, every Wednesday. I said to her very often, like, please keep smiling. Like every time you come with that big smile, like it makes my day. Thank you so much for beaming your creativity into Topia. For all of you.
Wait! I want to interrupt. Well, just to say thanks to Harris more. That was really nice. It was just really nice how you said a lot of nice things about your experience in the studio. That was great. And Harris was a really good note taker. Harris also did a really good job at taking spiral notes of every single class ever that we did, basically.
And thank you for introducing the tool of Miro to me, because it completely has changed the way that I take notes. And it has, like, I was so overwhelmed with all the pieces that I was holding, and then I was like, wait, make a Miro board out of it. And I just dumped my whole life into a Miro board. So again, thank you for another tool to support the coherence of this crazy ride that is creativity.
Yes, I love Miro. Miro is the best, and so are you.
I can tell you how much overwhelmness we had at the beginning of the studio when we introduced all the students with all the tools and all the things they could do and all the things, and everywhere was like But then they really catch up, and it's been amazing to see you guys like grow into all these things that we have put at your disposal to better thinking and better system thinking.
I'm glad that we could nurture your fertile soil. It is so fertile and rainbow luminescent. Paris, we love you so much. For all of the decades to come. Oh, that was an accident. For the decade to come, but maybe all the decades to come.
All the decades.
I'm glad we're together. Thanks, Gunel.
All right. What I was starting to say is that if you are new here and you haven't heard us talk 37 times about it, what I have behind myself and in my face is Regenera. And Regenera is a floating city. It's a story universe that we have created for you to explore and to participate. It currently hosts all the projects of the Revolutionaries between its two different worlds, one in Topia, one in New York City. New York City is the Museum of Regenerative Art that you can explore, and then Topia has 4 worlds for now. But these will keep growing. There will be more neighborhoods that will be added. You will be able to create your own and add them to this floating city that is with us through the decade. And so you can go out and explore it. And I promise you it will be fun. Yesterday we were running around Topia until like 2 a.m. Exploring the art. I see that Ex-Rasma is currently exploring Topia telepathically. You can go explore at regenera.city to learn the story of the city and get into our like storytelling narrative story universe. You can also go to regenera.art and put in the password stream tab, don't tell anybody, and you will be able to access all the worlds from there, or you can go to topia.io/regenera-deck. We'll put that in the chat, but come and play and click on everything. Everything is clickable and explorable, and come with friends. It's really fun. Topia is really fun to be with friends and explore, and it really feels like you're in a physical location just playing around. So yeah, we're all invited.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to show a few slides because we are here together. And in case you missed the memo, somehow that you are here in this very important moment of confluencing. I don't think that's a word. Is it a word? Confluencing? No.
I understand
yes?
what you're saying. Yeah.
Sure, it's a word, a new word.
It is now.
Creators of regenerative futures flowing together. Great, perfect. We are in the end of day 7, or maybe the beginning. I don't know what time of day it is where you are, of 8 days. As we're kicking off this inaugural celebration of the Regenaissance, our decade-long global movement. And we have brought together you, revolutionary creator, systems thinker. Maybe you have an organization. And together we are imagining and collaborating and co-creating this world that works for all. For the story universe that Nicolas has told you about is amazing. And it was created by the Design Science Studio to scaffold all of these projects throughout the decade ahead for this future that is regenerative, equitable, and just. And it was woven with the fabric and the principles of our collective mission. So Harif and Jess and Nat and all of the creators all stirred into the pot, everyone together, because they came from a call. And we said, hey, who wants to direct their creative efforts towards a world that works for all life? What if we just all direct our creativity to empower and uplift the capacity of artists and designers to be able to do just what Harris was talking about, to push their creativity, to catalyze inspiration, conversation, and collective action, to support this transition. Because we're in this time where everything's radically changing, and we see that there's a future that's possible that leaves no one behind and is interwoven with nature. So, what is the Regenaissance Sphere, Nicolas?
the Regeneissance Sphere is this idea that we change the world through play, because it's much more fun than do it with like violence and like all these things. And no. We're gonna do it with songs, thanks to this guy up here. We're gonna do it through art. We're gonna do it through celebration and ritual, and by getting together and figuring it out, because that's what we do. We figure it out. We just envision new and better futures, so we can live them. We put them into the future and we say like, this is how it should be. This is how we want it to be. And then we backcast to the present to see what steps we need to do to get there. And so we do this by celebrating, by getting together and doing annual rites of passage and parties and celebrating the seasons. Yeah.
The context of this call is this storytelling that the Buckminster Fuller Institute has decided to do about the next decade. Renaming it, as Buckminster Fuller called the 1965 to 75, the design science decade, bringing it back. Fuller was often 50 years ahead of his time. Here we are, ready, with all the technology and all of the urgency to transform the world. Go through a design science revolution in 10 years. Fuller said, planetary revolution is here. But there are options. A hot-headedly conducted, bloody revolution, everyone loses. A cool-headedly conducted, design science, computer-accommodated, wealth accounting revolution, all humanity wins. And here we are, revolutionaries coming together in this most concentrated transition moment humanity has perhaps ever seen. In the course of the next 10 years, we will.
Next
10 years, we will build a new economy that works for 100% of life. No one left behind. There are 5 themes of this decade that we've been working on that are woven into the artists' work that you've seen here at Regenera and that you'll see throughout the decade. And we've featured them as the different themes of the days all week. And we went through reconciliation and commitment, really reconciling and going through a truth and reconciliation process around the world of how we got here. All of the atrocities upon which our current economy is built, and how can we repair and put in systems of reparations in order to rectify that. And committing beyond what we know is possible, committing just knowing that that's where we need to go, but not really knowing the path to get there. That's the task of the times. And then moving into restoration and capital transfer, restoring our ecosystems, bringing carbon, the trillion tons of excess carbon in our atmosphere back down into life in our land and our oceans, and capital transfer, transferring tens of trillions of dollars in the next decade to an economy that is built on art and altruism. And then moving into resilience and coming together as there are shocks to the system, as there have been this year. How can we form a more resilient society? And in that short-term response and that disaster relief, how can we build mutual aid networks and other infrastructure systems that dismantle the cycles of oppression and colonization that have strangled our earth and our potential as human beings, and coming together in all of that. Then moving on to regeneration and celebration. There's so much work being done to regenerate the planet, to shift into the regenerative paradigm, and there's a bit of a buffer and a latency, a delay in the system with that work. So we see kind of later on in the decade this kind of wave of good regeneration news coming at us, and we'll celebrate, we will dance, we will celebrate and dance all decade long on this train and in so many other places. And finally, re-enchantment and the circularity. Re-enchantment being this idea of becoming enchanted once again, in tune, in harmony, in rhythm with nature, as nature. And this idea of the circularity, a moment at which all materials are either cycled through past products into new products, or cycled through a regenerative economy and regenerative soil in a way that creates health, that creates more health, that creates more health, life that creates conditions conducive to life. That is the decade for you. That is what we're here to do. This Design Science Studio is really just the spark, the invitation for all of us to step into all we are capable of, to be trim tabs in this time, in this really critical time for humanity and for the future of our Earth. It is such a pleasure to have found you all, to be in family with you all, and to be continuing to grow our family. Thank you all for inviting other people in and continuing to grow the movement of movements that is coming here to heal our world just in time, and not without some loss. We've definitely lost too many species already. There's too much plastic everywhere already. So let's mitigate the losses and do everything that we can to make this world work for all and avoid the potential collapse that looms way too close. Yeah, so thank you all for pouring your hearts in, for your souls and your connection. I'll pass it back to Rosie.
Amanda, could you just for 30 seconds explain what comprehensive anticipatory design science is for all these beautiful humans?
Sure thing. Comprehensive anticipatory design science was Fuller's kind of omni-discipline. It was a discipline of disciplines, a methodology in which he encouraged us to be comprehensive, to think in systems, to look at the whole, to start with the universe, as he liked to say. Encouraged us to be anticipatory, to look into the future, to anticipate factors and forces, trends and needs of humanity and of all of our living systems and non-living systems in this world, and how we can anticipate those needs so that we can design with intention and design for a world that works for all. He often said it would be all or none. And we find in Buddhism, people say none will be truly happy until none are suffering. And he really embodied that so well as a humanitarian technologist, ecologist. And then finally, science, comprehensive anticipatory design science. Science is all about, learning through experience. And there is a train coming through, choo choo. Science is all about tuning into ecological principles, to the underlying laws and governing forces of nature. There's 3.8 billion years of R&D that nature has been conducting for all of us, as us on this earth. And we have so much to learn, as we learned from Casey House earlier, about the structure of nature, and so much to learn from not only its form, but its function. And yeah, I think we're really just at the beginning of a whole revolution in every industry, materials, building, transportation. We're all transforming so quickly right now. We have the potential to really make it all work for everyone. We just kind of need to reorient to that comprehensive understanding and moving, as Lynn Twist taught us. Lynn Twist is a student of Fuller's that was a featured speaker in the Design Science Studio. Move from scarcity to sufficiency. So instead of a scarcity world where I can only profit at someone else's expense, to a sufficiency world where everyone does actually have enough. And yeah, I think that fundamental shift and that remembering is paramount. So that's why we're here, because art helps us go there faster.
So let's architect the future together. And who do I have to introduce but the very architect of the vision train herself, Miss Amanda Sage? Oh my goodness. Amanda, you have to give your whole presentation. I'm sorry we're 5 minutes late. I am going to ask David Satori to forgive me, but you are much too important and you have prepared for too long, and you should not cut it short. And that is my declaration. Because you are an artist driven by the desire to reveal art's critical role in the regenerative culture, and you're passionate about creating artistic and social experiments that explore solutionary activism, and you're doing it. And we're in your house. And I think We want to hear your vision that you are drawing. Now, we love you. And you are such an integral part of this community, and I'm so grateful that we got to link train cars. Legend. Choo-choo!
Choo-choo! I am so excited to be here in this moment with all of you. It's quite ridiculous that, oh, we've found each other. It's not ridiculous at all, but you know, it is this metaphor, this meme, this story that has been growing in my heart, I think since I was born, and probably long before that. You know, it is finding form. And this form is a journey. It's something that I have been on. I've been so privileged, really, to be offered this opportunity since I was a kid. Encouragement, I would say, encouragement by others to say, explore, find the tools and the mediums and the skills, and don't be afraid to share. And so I've had wonderful teachers along my path, and this community that has come together where we are right now on the train. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of this Zoom call going, you know, 24/7 with over 1,000 artists from all over the world. And I really believe everybody is an artist, you know, so it's like, if you've felt the call, you've heard that whistle, and you've showed up here, you know, you've helped create this space, and we're all creating it together. And how interesting that Zoom here has, you know, we're all in our little train cars, huh? So interesting. So I'm going to share my presentation. I'm going to share a little bit of a story of how I found the train. And it is an honor to do this. I have to move this a little bit. Wonderful. Yay. So the Vision Train is a story that started for me, I think, back when I was a little kid, and I had a big poster of this image on our wall. And it's a poster, it was a painting by Joel and Diane Schatz, and called Peace Track. And there's actually a puzzle of it. This is a photo of a puzzle that I have. And in this puzzle, in this painting, there's this whole world here that you can see is you know, flowering, it's colorful, it's green, there's colors, there are people doing Tai Chi together. This is the world. When I was a little kid, I was like, that's where I want to live. That's what I want to do. And then as I went up here, you could see the pollution, there's war and no trees, not green. I was like, nah, I don't want to hang out over there. So I made that decision pretty young, you know, and I think we do that at a certain age. We make a decision where we want to be. And as I mentioned before, my parents were very sweet. They really believed in giving me the freedom to play. And you know, here I am squeezing tubes of paint probably onto something, but experimentation, playfulness. I wasn't in the normal school system for a lot of my life, and really got to explore. And I ended up going on a journey after I was finished with the school years, actually at a Waldorf school for the latter part, which was really amazing. I went and studied and learned how to paint very classically with a master in Europe. And this was a tool that I felt would be really important, because if I could articulate what I could feel and what I was seeing, then that would be a skill that would be useful. And I knew it would be for some reason. And then I had the opportunity to work with my teacher's father as an assistant. His name is Ernst Fuchs, and this is a portrait I did of him right after he passed. And I worked with him for 10 years, really exploring this, you know, pulling out the vision, drawing out the vision. He's one of the grandfathers and godfathers of the visionary art movement, as Alex Gray would say. And so I really got to explore what it was to be to not know what I was going to do, but to ask the question and then to be guided. And from there, I went into really discovering my own vision. And I used this vessel was given to me through a painting, through the exploration of a painting of the egg. of the seed. And that seed, oops, hi everybody. That seed is a place that I felt I could be totally free to explore in. And from there, I started making prayers. And at the same time, I had a studio in this incredible place called the VUC in Vienna, Austria. I'm still a part of it, though I'm not physically there, and it's an old locomotive factory. And it's a massive culture house, 12,000 square meters of alternative culture, and incredible workshops and schools and places for people to share, to listen to each other, to dance. And that taught me a lot about community and also a lot of what was possible here in the middle of an urban setting in an old industrial building. And go figure, it was a locomotive factory. And from there, so my ideas were starting to really develop, you know, and my desire to be in community and to be a part of exploring what it was that we could really create together, right? And I knew that the arts was such a core part of this. And so I had learned about this gathering that was happening in the desert, this gathering of people in Nevada, this place called Burning Man. And I knew about it for quite a while before I was able to go. And when I went, it changed my life, because I started to meet so many people that were also, you know, really living and doing a lot of the things that I had been feeling and writing about, dreaming about, and starting to paint about. And during this transition of starting to really meet more of the others, I started this painting, and this painting also really changed my life. It was a 6-year journey of creating this piece that is a life-size self-portrait of me screaming and lifting my skirt. It's called the Anasaramai. It's called the act of lifting the skirt, and it's known to be one of the most powerful gestures to scare away the devil or to stop an army in its tracks. And I was like, whoa, like I've never seen this before, never heard about it, started talking about it. I didn't know it. Nobody that I spoke to had heard of this either. So it seemed like a worthy thing to explore and to share what that would do, you know, to make this kind of stance. And through that 6 years, I really questioned a lot of what I would really lift my skirt to. And from there, this whole story, I feel like the train came out of this in many ways. And it really comes from this place of being fully committed. And that's one of the things we talk about in the Design Science Studio. That's one of the, I think, reasons that this studio is created, is to help us all go even deeper into our commitment, right? And there's a longer story about this piece, but we'll tell that story another time. From there, I started seeing the train. I started seeing this vision, and I was participating in camps at Burning Man. Matt Siegel said that before. Yeah, there's so many of us that met there, and I started to see this vision, this story that I started painting about. And here I am painting at Lightning in a Bottle. I think this could be 2011 or 10. And here I'm starting to paint, or 12, I'm painting the train, right? And I'm painting the people, right? People would walk up and be like, oh, wow, this is cool. What are you doing? What is this? And I'd be like, well, where are you? You know, and I paint them in it. I even painted one of Harlan's structures are in multiple paintings of mine about this, because it's like taking the pieces of the puzzle that I saw coming together and the individuals that were dreaming this into being. And I saw my role. I was like, well, what can I do, right? What can I do? Well, I can try to paint it out and draw it out. And through that, maybe we can all become even more connected and more clear about where we're going, what we're doing. And I was finding mentors along the way as well. And one of my mentors, Jim Shannon, he was the general of the New Earth Army, and he had it mapped out, right? Like he was creating all kinds of maps in a way for creating the world that we want to live in. And I found that continuing to talk about it in the way that I was seeing it unfold just continued to create a magnetism, right, around my life and those that I was meeting, and I was seeing like the mycelial network just continuing to grow. So I would continue to paint paint it and find it like in the work. And this painting is one of the ones where I really went, one of the first ones I went deep, where I painted the train. You can see there's all kinds of people partying on the train too. That's all us. Everybody in the studio, everybody on the train, you know, we're having the best time ever as we're bringing the example of the genius of humanity back on the tracks that took us to the end of the Western frontier. And this is no new story. This is a story that's coming, and it's not like I didn't make this up. We made it up, right? We're making it up. And I'm just seeing these puzzle pieces coming together. And I feel like it's a part of like, just, you know, sharing the news. Get ready, folks. This is happening, right? And so along the way, the test the coils, you know, the circus tents, the dancers, the acro yogis. Oh, and we've always got the domes and the teepees and the labyrinths. And there's one of Harlan's structures again. And so, you know, and this is a prayer. It's a prayer. And for anybody that has this piece, then either like print it out on a print, or it's a screensaver on your phone. There's a vibration in there of a prayer that I think is calling us. And so throughout the past decade, I've been doing a bunch of workshops, teaching workshops, painting workshops all over the world. And, you know, the painting part is really just a trick. It's a really good trick. It's a trick for us to get together and to dream and to go deep, to hone skills, to listen to stories, and to make friends, right? To make a family, create family, and to cast that spell. And everywhere that we go, we share food, we share laughter, you know, and we share this creative space, igniting each other to become, you know, to become our highest selves, you know, to become, you know, truly realized in a way that we can contribute and be of service to this vision that is coming through so many of us. And one of the ways that I also have been playing with the Vision Train vision is this Vision Train drawing project. And I've collected over 1,000 of these train cars by now. And there's going to be many more. And I believe that every single project in the studio has at least one of these cars, if not a whole section, right? And I just look so forward to seeing them presented, right? And, you know, and it's not just the really like incredible folks that I've had a chance to meet, and I can't wait to meet everyone. I feel like we've got time. We're not ending anything here. We're just beginning, right, with this launch. But it's the children, you know, it's like, what do the children see? What do they want? And I've gone into so many different classrooms and different projects to be able to, you know, to work with them and ask them. And as they draw out their vision and then write out their vision and then share it with each other, it has been so inspiring, and to see what comes out of that. And then I ask them to give it away. I ask them to give it to me, and that I will care for it, and that with time, these visions will come to be. And this is with homeless teenagers in downtown LA and all over the place, you know, wherever I go, everybody has something to share. And so many people will stop and say, you know, I don't really, you know, I can't draw. And, you know, I like to counter that immediately, because that's some old wiring that we need to change. And each of us can share, and each of us has a vision to share. So here's some more of the fun little train cars that I've collected, and even more. And you can do as many train cars as you want. You can create as many as you want. You know, this is an infinite train, and we're iterating. And so last year at the Envision Festival, we were gathering, and this is the last time that I was in a setting where we were all gathering this close together. And I started this painting with my partner, Joe Bob, and we were painting for some reason these big waves, you know, these big waves of change. And here's this wave coming and, you know, crashing down on all of the things that are broken, right? And I'll show you where it is at now at the end of the presentation. But from this, right, from this global pandemic that kind of like rendered us all into a place of like reassessment, I felt this crazy crazy tickling of energy that it was time. It was time to start the Vision Train in a format that I wouldn't have thought of before. And so on March 24th, 2020, the Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam left the station as a 24/7 virtual collaborative art studio. Over 1,000 artists and participants have been on the train since its inception and is kept on the tracks by a core crew of engineers, conductors, and writers fueled by a passion for creative expression and collaboration. And we created a Facebook group. We created different ways of how people could get on board. We created a whole conductor structure that split up the 24 hours of a day into 4 different trips. We created a language around how we would care for the train, you know, so we made a schedule so that volunteer artists that said, yeah, I'll be a conductor, I'll help keep the train on the tracks. And we trained each other, right? In creating the space that we could be alone together and inspire each other to create the best work that we ever have. And it was an experiment, right? Who knew if it was going to keep going? And so this schedule, thank you, Alicia, Sacred Heart, and the whole crew, you know, we rallied and we made sure that the train always had somebody there that knew how to share music, you know, was there to, you know, welcome new people. And it became this experimental space where we shared what was important to us. We listened to each other and we built community all over the world. And we did all kinds of things, celebrating Earth Day. The Vision Train Station, VTTV, all kinds of interviews. And we even had an incredible exhibition, our first virtual exhibition, Mushroom Magic, curated by Serenity Meg, and over 100 visions, all dedicated to mushrooms. And it was an incredible way for us to come together and really acknowledge this mycelial healing that was happening, that we really wanted to acknowledge through our art. And so many different presentations, regular trips. The Art of Dying is a regular trip by Lisette Murphy. So much. And as you can tell, we just went for it. We didn't have one typeset that we used. I mean, we have this beautiful logo that Alex Polanco designed of the Vision Train, but we've just had so many interesting things happen on the train. And one of the things that has been so succinct, I would say, is this real feeling of community, you know, of kindness, of respect, of collaboration. This is not about competition. We're here to plus each other, right? And yeah, so this is a painting that I had created. This is about 4 years ago, and it's titled The Vision Train. And here we are, all blasting our visions out onto our canvases, out onto whatever medium it is of our expression. And we're connected, right, to this vision, and the train is coming right for us. Here we are on the tracks. And this here is this grid of, yeah, it's the city of Burning Man, right? As a grid, many of us are familiar with that, but instead of the man at the center, it's the sacred fire. And around it, the pyramid, the dome, and the teepees representing the indigenous being at the most inner circle, right? We need to come back and get connected to our roots. We need to go back on those tracks and ask for forgiveness, reconciliation, right? For all the things that have been forgotten. And here in all these centers, we're gathering to learn and to share. And out here, all the regenerative projects and all the things. And all of this is right up next to the city, right? It's not out in the desert anymore. It's right up in the city as a way to like, come experience this with us. Experience the example of how this could be. And so this partnering together, this being a part of the Design Science Studio has blown my mind. I am so excited to go back and explore every single project that has been presented through the studio and to really link cars. I want to paint every single one of you and all of your projects into this train, because this train is for us. This train is something that I know that is only going to happen through all of us coming together. And so we're really excited for this exhibition too, that we've created, Transition Art for the Regenaissance, as a celebration of the 1-year anniversary. And so many of the different artists that have been a part of it are in the show. There's over 130 works. It opened on the 24th. On Wednesday was actually the 1-year anniversary. So please come check it out. And of course, there's even so many more people that have been a part of this that are not in the show, but this is a way to put up a lot of the names of the artists that have been involved. And, you know, so many of the pieces too in the show have been created on the train, a part of this past year of really, you know, looking forward, looking into the future and the possibility that we have, right? These prayers. And this is a new painting by Mark Henson, Lost Horizon. And I think this is such an appropriate piece for now with Regeneration Rising and the floating city. And, you know, looking to another horizon, to this hopeful place, right, that we can create together. And here's another piece, Butterfly Queen by Mystery Elias. And such a beautiful piece that was created this year. Also really seeing the beauty and the flowering and the blossoming of the potential of through these times. Here's another painting by Isla Rose. And these are just a few examples of the works that are in the show. And this is a painting of mine, Regenerating Heaven on Earth, that I finished and painted in 2019. It was David Bronner that actually named this piece. And I finished it right before I went to Burning Man in 2019. And you can see here it is the grid. And you can see the train coming down and all the animals. And I feel like this is all of existence coming down during this time, into this time where we have turned the world into a grid, right? And now it's time within the urban centers, you know, to start regreening, to reimagine, to come out onto the streets together and come into the circle, to come and remember each other. And what does it look like? What is the city that we're going to build? You know, it's not just one, you know, it's going to happen everywhere. These are the train stations, right? And this is Shangri-La. This is, you know, the Alchemy Center. There's so many incredible projects that are all envisioning a similar thing. And I want to help support, you know, through the medium of the tools that I have, as well as, and I know everybody that is on the train is also feeling called to be a part of the visualizing, so that we can help create the memes and help create the stories to inspire others to come with us. And this is another painting that I did called A New Dawn. This was during the Eclipse Festival in 2017. And you can see the domes are always there, the hot air balloons, the trains right back there. Trains are always hiding in my paintings. And this is a commemoration, you know, of these times of us coming together. And the Vision Train, this is the painting that we started at Envision last year. And I decided that's not totally finished, but it's in the show. And here it is, because look, all these cars, they still need to be filled. And so I look forward to continuing to fill them and continuing to dream this into being, as this great wave of change, of the transformation, is going to crash back on to this story that we need to graduate from, with love, with reverence, with beauty, and with the invitation to come join us. And these are all the fires, the sacred fires that are in the center of the holes of extraction that are to be remembered. It's time for us to come back together around them and to heal that story. So I'm at the end finally. I'm sorry for going over a bit, but I have one little thing I want to share with you still. And this is a project by Jeffrey Pletnick. And this train is in Mora, the Museum of Regenerative Art, and it's also in the Transition exhibition. And also big shout out to Harris for activating the train that's also in Topia. Thank you so much. And let's see if this will play. Yeah. And so, wow. This is just the beginning. It only has one car because, you know, we are just beginning. And I am just so blown away by the creativity, by all the visionaries, everyone coming together at this time. And I really look forward to finding even more ways to share and to dream this together, because it really is, it's only going to happen if we all step up to the plate. So thank you for being here. Thank you to this crew. So looking forward to seeing what's going to continue, how we're going to continue to iterate and grow. And thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Design Science Studio. Love you all so much. Appreciate you.
Love you so much. That was beautiful. Can everyone unmute themselves? The train is choo-chooing. Can you just share your love for Amanda's vision?
So good. So good. We're just getting started, folks. We're just getting started.
Thank you for drawing out the vision for yourself, Amanda, and for welcoming everyone into that container in such a powerful way. You truly are a channel for this transition. And thank you. I love you so much. So honored to be lightened. I feel so lightened that we found each other. We, the like collective we, that we have all found each other. It's like a few months ago, the word buoyancy came to mind, you know, like the little buoys in the water. It feels like that. Like, I feel like we're in this like web, and now like each one of us is like a little lighter because we're to neck together. And now we can truly be this tide that raises all ships. And I know that if we stream music, it'll cut us off out in the world. It'll be like, no, you're not allowed to live stream live music because of mixing and like copyright and stuff. So we have to close the stream. But before we do that, Amanda Joy, I'm gonna bring you up here. I'm gonna leave the Amandas up here for a minute because wow.
Oh, Amanda Sage, wow. You're such a gift. It's such a gift to be your sister in all of this. To share a birthday on top of it. It's amazing. And to share a birthday with a certain molecule that we love. Yeah, thank you so much for being part of this first cohort and yeah, kicking off a decade with us. There's, as you said, so much more to come, and really just so grateful that for this kind of like initial kernel that we're creating now and all that it will zoom out to be, all the ripples that will create around the world. And yeah, just thank you for all that you're pouring in, for showing up so strongly. Yeah, I see you.
Well, love you, believe in you. Oh, Nico's little hat friend went away. It doesn't like two people. Hold on, let me turn this thing off. Okay, well, I guess we'll close the outside world and welcome you all in.